In the summer of 2011, we sent out notifications to all current suppliers announcing that we had launched the Cooperative Supplier Portal. This is a web-based platform designed to enable users, whether they be from the cooperative or from an external supplier, to exchange and share data quickly, easily and effectively. The aim is to increase efficiency and accuracy for all involved parties. Hopefully, you will have familiarized yourself with the look and feel of the site over the last few months. We are now ready to launch the next phase with a new item workflow. The new item workflow will manage the listing of new products and the ongoing maintenance of product information. Historically, we have found the creation and listing of new items problematic. We've had trouble with partial or incorrect data being supplied, data being misplaced or lost, and data being vague or misleading. This has resulted in the launch of new lines, sometimes being not as effective as we would wish, and ongoing issues with the availability of products because of incorrect or missing data. By building in an automated process on the supplier portal, we will streamline this process and improve the accuracy and integrity of the data. The new item workflow will have defined owners of the required data fields across suppliers, buyers, and data management, and the relevant individuals will be responsible for the input and accuracy of the data. There are mandatory fields which, if not completed, will prevent you from submitting the form to the buyers. The new item workflow will manage the communication of the data according to the agreed standards and timelines. The product data will be viewable in one place, and data security will be maintained as visibility of specific data fields is governed by user roles. The supplier will start the process of creating a new item. Do this by going to the Actions menu on your My Site and selecting New Items. At the base of the page, select Add New Item. There are a number of different new item forms, which are called new item templates, and the choice of which template to use will be driven by the type of product that is supplied. In total, there are 10 different templates, and they have been designed to reduce the amount of product-specific data on the forms. For instance, a produce supplier will select the produce template and will not see all the different cost fields that are on the wine template, which will cover the wine-specific information such as duty, bond, freight, etc. You will note that for the chilled and produce templates, there is an additional template called Random and Variable Weight. If this template is selected, additional information is required that identifies that the product is either bought or sold by weight. Once the correct template has been selected from the Template Type drop-down menu, you then have to choose the type of product listing you are creating. The three current options are New Item Creation, New Product Development, and Change to Existing Product Details. New Item Creation. This is the standard process and is the creation of any new, branded item by the supplier. It is not an own label line for the cooperative, and it is not a change to an existing product. These both have their own separate workflow processes. New item creation would, however, include any planned range additions, seasonal lines and promotional or one-off lines. New product development. This will be specifically development of a new line for the cooperative's own label ranges. The process for completion of these lines is slightly different and will be touched on later. Change to existing product details. These will be needed when changes are being made to a line that is already supplied. Its pack size or barcode may be changing, for example. Again, this has a different process that we will discuss later. Once you have selected a template type and specified that you are following the standard process for new item creation, there are a number of data fields that will require correct completion. Mandatory fields will be asterisked. The user will not be able to submit the new item form until these are filled in. Detailed user guides will be produced explaining what the different headings mean, and these will be saved on the supplier portal in the Terms and Conditions section under the heading of Supplier Guides. We would, however, like to highlight a number of the key data fields here and explain why accuracy is crucial from the very start of the process. We need to know where it is being sold. Is it the cooperative group stores only, CRTG independent societies only, regional specific, or the total business, i.e. the whole of the cooperative retail trading group nationally? If the product is a regional line or for independent societies only, you will need to state the specific area where it will be sold. This is a free text box, so list all societies or regions. The product description is the full description of the product and must be entered as it will appear on the product labelling. It must include the product brand, for example, Hunter Brothers, and the product size, even though there is another field for the product brand that must be completed. The product barcode is a unique product identifier that will appear on individual sellable items. For branded products, the supplier will create this themselves. For products in the cooperative's own label range that are created under the New Product Development Workflow, we will raise these barcodes. The barcode must comply to industry standards. For loose produce, the international PLU code must be provided. All other PLU codes will be allocated internally by the cooperative. The VAT code has 5 different options for the supplier to choose between. R standard, 20%, B base rate, 0%, L medium, 5%, N non-vatable, those products not liable for VAT at all, such as gift vouchers or lottery tickets, and mixed rate. We need to know from you whether your new item is price marked or an added value pack. You will need to state either yes or no for both these questions. If you have answered yes for either or both of these questions, you must also supply the product barcode of the standard pack. If you have answered yes for the pack being price marked, you will also have to supply the price marked value. If you have selected a random and variable weight template, we need to understand how the product is bought and sold. Does the line have a fixed case cost and retail price, a fixed case cost and a variable retail price, or a variable case cost and retail price? All 3 questions have a standard yes or no drop-down menu for answering, but you can only select yes once. Product height, width and depth are the dimensions of an individual pack. These should be quoted in centimetres, correct to 1 decimal place. These figures are used for merchandising and planning how many shelf facings a product should have and how many products will fit on shelf. Incorrect sizes may mean that in practice, we are not able to display your products as effectively as we'd planned to. The complete life expectancy of a product in days from the moment it is manufactured is referred to as its total life. Compare this with the guaranteed life into depot, which is the number of days life you have agreed with us once a product has arrived in depot, excluding the delivery day. Alternatively, if a line is supplied direct to store, it is the life expectancy once it has hit the store, including the delivery day. If any stock delivered does not have the life guarantee during product creation, the depot or store can refuse to accept it. It is therefore vital to get this correct, as any rejections will cost you sales. The actual product size of the item is necessary. You will need to specify the exact size of the item, for example, 98 grams or 2 litres. There is an asterisked mandatory field which asks you to confirm whether the item in question is a manufacturer or cooperative brand product. In the new item creation workflow, you should select M, manufacturer's brand, as all cooperative own label lines would be handled by the new product development workflow. The outer case pack size details the total number of individual sellable units contained in the case, which you deliver to depots or direct to our stores. If this is wrong, order quantities will be incorrect. The outer case must have its own unique barcode, which is referred to as an outer case barcode. These are generated by suppliers for branded lines and the cooperative for own label lines. They are used for EDI ordering and receiving goods, and any error at creation will have a knock-on effect on both of these. In the Supply Source drop-down menu, select whether the line is being supplied direct, via depot, or via both routes. If you supply a product to one of our depots, we also need to know the case dimensions and weight. The case length, width and height of the outer case are all measured in centimetres to 1 decimal place, and the case weight in kilograms to 2 decimal places. This is not just the weight of all the individual items, but also includes the weight of the outer packaging. We also require details about the number of cases per layer, the number of layers per pallet, and the total number of cases per pallet. You need to let us know the earliest order date and the earliest delivery date, so that we can build this into our stock ordering systems. We need to know, will the product be supplied to stores as a split pack? This decision will have been clarified in negotiations with the buyer. If the answer to this question is yes, you will need to advise us what the outer case is split down into: a bottle, a case, a sleeve, or each. This information will populate the issue pack identifier. We also need the inner case pack size, barcode, case length, width and height, in centimetres to 1 decimal place, and weight in kilograms to 2 decimal places. The list price is the cost of the outer cases before any discounts are taken into consideration. We have 5 sections in which to record any relevant discounts agreed with the cooperative as part of the commercial terms. Off-invoice discounts are those discounts that are reflected on the invoice received from the supplier. These are the opposite of warehouse retros, where the cooperative is charged fully on the invoice but credited back at a later date. Finally, the settlement discount details where a percentage reduction in cost has been negotiated subject to payment of the invoice within a specified number of days. Clicking on Calculate will work out the net cost for your information. Once all the required fields are completed, click on Save and Submit. This will send the information to the buyer. If the information submitted is inaccurate or confusing, the buyer may reject the new item form. In these instances, the form will be returned to you with comments added on by the buyer detailing why they have rejected it. Otherwise, the buyer adds in more information and submits the form to the cooperative's data management team for processing. Suppliers will receive an automatic email letting them know that the product has been fully set up on our systems. If, whilst filling out the form, you wish to save the information ahead of completing the template and submitting the form to the buyer, you have an option to save instead. This means that the data is stored and you can return to the form to amend and submit when complete. At any stage in the process, progress can be checked on the main New Item page. All saved or submitted forms will be listed on the page. For instance, this view shows the Fair Trade chocolate and farmyard stuffing as having been entered into the cooperative systems. The sprouting broccoli has been submitted to the data management team by the buyer, but has not been entered into the system yet. The crisp breads, however, have been rejected back to the supplier because of insufficient or inaccurate data. At the top of the page, there is a facility to allow you to search against submission dates or status of the request. Clicking on the product barcode of any of these submissions will allow you to see not only the data you have inputted, but also data inputted by the buyer and data management as well. The new product development option, as stated before, is used for new lines that will be in the cooperative's own label range. The heart of the process is exactly as outlined earlier. However, there are an extra couple of steps that take place at the start of the process. The the supplier would choose the applicable e-form template type and choose New Product Development as the type of product listing. The resultant form only has one mandatory field: product description. Please key in whatever information you possess at this stage and save and submit. The submitted form is sent on to the buyer. They have the option to amend the submitted information, add more, or reject back to the supplier, as in the standard process. More information is added in-house, such as the product barcode and outer case barcode, and then passed back to the supplier to complete at a later date, as per the standard process. The Change to Existing Product Details option is used when any amendments are made to a product that is already set up on the cooperative systems. For example, the case size, product description or barcode may have changed. In all these instances, the supplier will need to select the reason for the change. Depending on the reason chosen, certain fields will be highlighted for the user to fill in. Once again, clicking Save and Submit will send the form over to the buyer for review. We have other exciting developments in the pipeline, which will help to manage and ease the relationship between ourselves and you as a supplier. If there is any interaction that relies on timely, accurate exchange or sharing of information, our aim is to create a process for it on the supplier portal. We will be developing new item creation further by building in timescales around our range change calendar. We will build a similar process to handle the notification and details of proposed promotions. And we are creating a process to handle the agreement of price changes. We hope that you have found this guide to using the Cooperative Supplier Portal useful. Detailed user guides will be produced explaining what the different headings mean, and these will be saved on the Supplier Portal in the Terms and Conditions section under the heading of Supplier Guides. If you have any further questions or concerns, please speak to your buyer, or alternatively, you can address these to supplierportalsupport@cooperative.coop. Our Supplier Portal administration team will get back to you within 2 working days to help you use and enjoy the benefits of our new system. The video you have just watched has been designed for supplier use. It has been hosted on the portal for all suppliers to access. This following section is to briefly outline to internal viewers how the remainder of the process works, though for fuller details, you should refer to your internal user guide. As a buyer, you will be notified that a supplier has submitted a new item form via email. The Supplier Portal will send out a system-generated mail to you automatically, stating that a new item form has been assigned for your attention. This email will contain a hyperlink to the Supplier Portal. You will be required to validate the data submitted by the supplier and add further information. It is imperative that all data is correct. Any inaccuracies will result in products being set up incorrectly. Clicking on the embedded link will redirect you to your My Site. The new item submission will show as a task. Any tasks that have been automatically created as part of the workflow process will be prefixed with the type of product listing. Selecting any of these will show you the name of the task, the supplier that assigned it, the last time it was updated, and the status of the task. By default, this will always show as not started when you first access it. To check progress of new item submissions at any time and complete your stage in the workflow, click on New Items in the action menu of your My Site. This takes you to the New Item List page. All submitted new item forms can be seen at the base of the page, and the filter options at the top allow you to search for specific submissions. If you click on the barcode of the product, the new item form will appear. This will show the data that the supplier has already inputted and which you must validate. If the submitted data is incorrect, the form must be rejected back to the supplier by clicking Reject at the bottom of the form. There will also be certain data fields that require completion by the buyer. Those that are mandatory are marked with a red asterisk. These fields must be filled in with the appropriate information before the portal will allow you to approve and pass across to data management for product creation. These are all detailed in the New Item Form internal user guide. As stated earlier, the complete life expectancy of a product in days from the moment it is manufactured is referred to as its total life. The guaranteed life into depot is the number of days' life that the product should have once it has arrived in depot, excluding the delivery day, or in store including the delivery day. The retail life is the guaranteed life of the product in days when it is received by stores. Average life, however, is the average retail life when the product is received in from supplier. As such, this figure will always be the same or higher than the retail life. The department, section and subsection are all as standard for product setup. The product family is a grouping of products that are tied together for pricing and promotional purposes. For example, Big Man Chilled Pie 4-packs. Cooperative own label lines should have their product tier stated. Premium for truly irresistible, standard or value for simply value lines. You will need to state whether the item is orderable from the supplier, sellable to the customer, or a consumable line for in-store use or display only. You are also required to state whether the product is a substitute and, if so, the product NSL it is subbing in for and the start and end dates of the sub. Prices in different price bands must be inputted. Clicking Calculate will show the percentage difference between the price band 1 price and the prices inputted for price bands 2 and 3. At the base of the page, there are 4 options for the buyer to confirm next actions. Save. This will save any details you have inputted, but will not send them across to data management. This means that you can then exit the form without losing the information you have already completed. The next time you access the form, that data will be visible. Approve. This confirms that all the details inputted by the supplier are accurate and that you have completed all your data fields correctly. It then transfers the data across to data management for the next stage of the workflow process. All mandatory fields must have been completed for this to be sent. Otherwise, the portal will flag up those sections that still require completion. Assuming all mandatory fields are complete, you will receive the on-screen message, "New item approved successfully." Reject. By clicking Reject, the buyer sends the form back to the supplier. A form must be rejected if any of the supplier inputted data is incorrect. For any rejection, a comment must be added as to why you have rejected the new item form. Close. No action is taken at this time. The form is not sent on to data management and it is not rejected back to the supplier. Most importantly, if you have inputted any details yourself, this will not be saved. The task will remain with the buyer until the new item form is either approved or rejected. The same process is followed with regards to the change to existing product details process. The new product development workflow starts the same. However, once data management have inputted the information known at the initial stage, the buyer will assign the new item form back to the supplier so that they can add in further details as they become known.